Oh man, streaming on Saturdays, guys. It's a tough thing. I have just recently gotten back from the Nixon Library. It's actually the third weekend in a row that I've gone up there, and it's probably gonna be the last one for a while because what I'm gonna try to do from now on is when I go to one of those, go with someone else, just because I like taking people places that I think are educational. Um, but yeah, I'll probably go back up there again at some point in the future. I have a really nice time when I go up there. I don't know. Part of me thinks it's because when you are around things of historical significance, you can sometimes feel a little bit more in touch with it. And I'm trying to think of a way to describe it. I feel like I'm at a loss for words. Maybe it just has to do with wanting to be involved in this stuff and like feeling connected to it through being associated with there. So that's probably the way I would describe it. Yesterday I put up a new video about the same old topic, and I was I don't know. Every time I feel like I should, go back to discussing that stuff with edited content, and then I look at the views and that stuff. I'm like, yeah, this isn't worth it. So yeah, next edit video I'm gonna make is probably just more of that documentary stuff. Because at least with that, I actually, well, Kotsky Merchant, if it was so nice, why didn't you leave a comment? You know that when you leave comments and thumb stuff up, it actually boosted in the algorithm, so more people will have a higher chance of seeing it. No, I looked on there. There was only one comment. I was heartbroken. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I said I sat there and I wrote this script and tried to iron it out and make sure that it looked good, and none of my subs said anything. Well, except one, but still. No, I'll never understand people and their refusal to engage with stuff they claim to like. I'll never get that. That's a mystery to me. People do some really weird things. It's just like when one of my relatives asked me why didn't I buy this kid a book about one of these singers. They like I said because I know they're not going to read it. They don't read, so why would I buy them something that they're not going to use? As for why they don't read, I don't know, but I'm not going to sit here and try to convince myself I'm doing them a favor by getting them something that I know that I can reasonably assume they're not going to use. I feel like it doesn't make any sense. Yeah, I placed an order to the where did I order that from? It was from somewhere. And one of the employees called me and they were like, um, I wanted to ask you a couple of questions about your order. And it made me scared because I thought maybe I had done something wrong. Maybe because I made the count there only after I ordered it. So I said, oh, maybe it didn't go through and I'll have to do it again and wait even more days. I called them back the next day because there's like a time gap between here and the state they're in. So by the time I was able to actually sit down and call them the same day they called me, I didn't have enough time to actually speak to them. But I called them back and they said that they just wanted to ask me if I wanted to change one of the pens to a different color because they ran out of stock on it. And I was like, well, I mean, sure, but you made it sound like, and actually they did say they had a couple of questions and it was just one. like, wow, that's kind of underwhelming. But I guess what I'm confused by is I'll never understand how if a store or a place that you order something from doesn't have a product, like just runs out of something, right? Why why they would keep that same product that they no longer have available for people to purchase. For example, the Kennedy Library was having some sale, and they're still having a sale, and they were selling these spoons for like $5. It's like, oh, those look really nice. People went and bought those up like hotcakes because I kind of delayed on it. I didn't know they were flying off the shelf as much as they were, and the second they ran out of those, it was off of there. You couldn't even see the listing anymore. But I like that because that shows you that one store is run by people who are very serious, as at least when it relates to telling you what's in stock and what isn't. And another one is just kind of like, well, we'll leave this stuff up here, and then if people order it, we'll just call them and tell them we don't have it. I think that's really weird. They also sell stuff that was autographed by the person, but I mean, you can get. I think that's like really funny how the internet has made stuff that used to be like a real novelty, just kind of like whatever. So if there were no such thing as these other sites, it would be so cool to like walk up in there and spend $300 $400 for an autographed picture of whoever. But now you can go on eBay and get an autograph from that person for like 100 or not even half the price of what they're selling in that store. So it makes even less sense to deal with them in that way. But I was just saying that like it's interesting that if eBay and these other bidding places and sites, because even Amazon is guilty of that too, where people will put up a book that's signed by somebody and be like, hey, you can get a copy of this with the person's signature. So even Amazon is kind of like developing some eBay-esque qualities. But if those other sites weren't around, that would be really cool to go into that place and get a signed copy of, whatever the hell by that person. But you can go online and get it for cheaper prices off of other sites. I remember I was talking with my friend about how Fat Burger is a place I've gone to maybe twice in the last 10 years. And the reason for that is because they've steadily increased their prices to levels of absurdity. Um, I can go to somewhere like Chick-fil-A and get two burgers for probably $18. Even lower than that probably if I don't have like fries or anything. But if you go to Fat Burger, last time I went, this was back in September, it was $16 for one burger. And I was telling my friend that I think that's really crazy that a burger by itself costs so damn much. And his response was, well, it depends on the taste and how good it is. And it's like, dude, and I'm gonna just say this. I don't care who gets mad. No fast food restaurant delivers food that is of such an extremely high quality that you could not get something of the same or a similar quality at another place. I'm saying that I don't care who gets mad. It's the truth. It's fast food for a reason. These aren't gourmet chefs. It's stuff that you're trying to get to eat, when you're on the go or whatever. You don't want to sit in the restaurant or whatever. So the idea that you would take this stuff you make at a fast food place and not only price it at a ridiculous price of $16 for one little measly burger, but also have people who are like willing participants in this ridiculousness by going, oh, the price isn't bad because it tastes really good. It just shows you that people really like they screw themselves a lot of times. They're completely fine with that. And I've taken protest against like just different prices I thought were insane before. Like for example, when I would go to Chick-fil-A, they used to have it to where the milkshake was like $2 because they have a little small milkshake. They don't have any larger size, I should say. Um, and when I went there, this is back in December, I noticed that now they were like $4. So they had doubled the price. And now I think they're going for $5. And since December, I've been to, Chick-fil-A to get like a burger or whatever, and even that's becoming rarer. But besides going there to get other types of food that's been relatively the same price since last year. I have not ordered one shake from there since then. And I explained, I said, it doesn't make any sense to me that a small shake from there is like $4 or $5, but a medium or large one from McDonald's, for example, you can get for like $3 or $4, and it's way bigger. It was just crazy sitting there listening to him defend Fat Burger, talking about how good it is. Like, dude, I don't care if it was made by God himself. There's no reason for a little crappy sandwich from one of these places to cost the equivalent of a full meal from somewhere else. I'm telling you, people really like. I don't know if it's Stockholm syndrome. I don't know what it is, but there are some people in this world who genuinely like getting screwed over. Like they like having stuff that costs too much. They like having places that expect them to pay something that's ridiculous. They enjoy that. They think it's good. Yeah, that tree is kind of, it's making my background a little bit more unique. God, people defend anything. It's so sad. Imagine what I would look like if I went to a restaurant and you go there and it's like, I don't know, $2 for a shake. I'm gonna use the example I just used earlier, but flip it a little bit. $2 for a shake in December, and then it's like $5 by the time of February, and you're like, $5 for a little shake, not even like a large one, just a little shake. I'd be like, well, it tastes really good. It tastes nice. Yeah, I like McDonald's shakes. I usually prefer the I don't know. I haven't had them recently enough to kind of contrast them, but I tend to be more inclined to get strawberry, um, or like sometimes vanilla. It depends how I feel. I used to order vanilla more often though, and it's kind of like tilted the other way in recent years. Yeah, I'm all I'm getting at here is I think it's really crazy to have places that increase their prices, and sometimes not even by like a marginal rate. Like, hey, it was a shake. The shake was $2 last month. Now it's like 250. Because at least with that, I can go, okay, whatever. It's not, at least not like a full dollar. They'll double or triple the price, and people will still buy the crap. And not only that, but they'll sit there and like defend it. Like this company had to make their little tiny shake $5 just so they could pay their workers. They couldn't just make some bigger sizes and then charge higher prices for those, which people definitely would pay. More bang for your buck. I'm telling you, man, people just they love making excuses for, and I don't know. I just think it's so weird that you can like critique a company over not paying its workers enough. You can critique a company for having ridiculous prices, and you'll always have someone who defends it, who's like, oh no, this isn't that, and it's not. And like, I understand if a spokesperson or an employee is like, hey, it's not that bad that they do this, whatever. But it's like random people are like, this isn't that bad, or it's the fault of the workers. I don't get them at all. Like I mentioned before, when they had that LAUSD school strike, and this person said that they knew what they signed up for. I'm like, get out of my face. Just a really I don't know. I'm always disturbed by people's lack of humanity. Yeah, why not have bigger size at higher prices and keep small size cheap for people who don't have a lot of money or just want a small treat? Well, that's what I'm saying. That I want you to understand my perspective. If it cost the same price or possibly even, excuse me, even more to get a small shake from Chick-fil-A that I would be able to get of a large one at McDonald's, I will drive from Chick-fil-A. I'll order whatever food I'm getting from Chick-fil-A and then drive to McDonald's to get the shake that's smaller, but that's larger and costs less. So that's why I'm saying that they don't incentivize you to order their drink because their drink is small and it costs more. There really is no benefit to it that I can think of other than you just, not wanting to be bothered driving somewhere else for a shake. And I guess you could say that, that's something that could happen, probably does happen, but still with me, I am the kind of person where if I notice that I think something costs too much, I'm just not going to bother with it anymore. I've only been to Fat Burger like twice in the last 6 months. And both times were somebody else getting something. I'm not giving them any money. Because when you're saying like if somebody just wants a small treat, you could actually make the argument that a person who orders, let's say, a large or medium shake from McDonald's, again, that costs less, they could just drink some of it and then put it in like a refrigerator or save it for later. So even like following that logic, there's like no incentive to go and get one from Chick-fil-A with like the higher prices and less for it. To hell with them and their tiny shakes. Their tiny overpriced shakes. I told one of my relatives, I said, look, if you want a shake from McDonald's, from Burger King, from any other of these fast food places, whatever, but none from Chick-fil-A. That's it. In and out. You won't see me trying to order anything from there anymore relating to a drink. That's done. I'm just reminded I have to go to the market after this. I always have to convince myself that, it's really insane to me that other people can't go there ever. Like, I don't understand the logic of that, where you need stuff and you just will never go, like, physically walk in there and get something. But there's a lot of strange stuff that people do that I don't understand. So I'm never too surprised. I don't know. Sometimes I really do just kind of sit back and just look at people. Because even in a setting like this, there's multiple individuals and you know characters running amok, and I'm probably gonna end up putting the thing up soon because they're making noises. But I was saying that, like, sometimes when I sit here, I actually do just kind of think about the inherent tragedy, as far as I see it. It's my opinion of having wanted to, I guess, have more associates and then just kind of seeing how crappy a lot of them act. Um, and how a lot of times you can directly attempt to speak with someone and interact with them, and like there's nothing coming back from them. It's all one sided. Seriously, there's a fine line of like going into a public setting and debating, hey, if you want to start a conversation with this person, that person. And for me, I just can never really feel that motivated to do it anymore because it just seems like nothing comes out of it that's remotely rewarding. Like, I'm trying to have a way to explain. It's kind of like if you were to say, oh, why don't you just go and talk to this person? And then you go, oh yeah, I'm reminded of the fact that when you try to speak to them, they, you might have one decent dialogue, and then after that they'll ignore you or not even try to keep it going. That's always a feeling I have. And that's why I said that self fulfilling prophecy thing is so stupid, because I've had plenty of acquaintances and associates and companions, whatnot, who you will sit there and you'll out maybe a day, 2 days a week, and you'll send a message to, hey, are you doing whatever? And they just don't respond. And I don't understand how, if you believe something's not going to happen, you make it not happen, but then you're the one who's trying to make it happen by reaching out to this person over and over again. So I said, people, they don't think when they come up with this stuff, they just go and make up all kind of crap. It's like, oh yeah, you must really not want to speak to people. That's why you go up and talk to them, and they don't respond back to you. But that'll be your fault anyway. I remember there was this one commentator I used to watch. He was conservative, but I always liked him because he was entertaining, and in general really didn't get caught up on like partisan praises of this person or that person. And really, like, I guess for most issues having to do with um, what's the way of saying it? When you have someone you disagree with, you can kind of respect them because they don't really kowtow to a lot of the usual tropes and various commonplace things you would see. That's what made me endeared by this commentator. And then one day they made a stream talking about why the minimum wage would be why raising the minimum wage would be a mistake, and I was just like, oh my god, well, there goes my interest in hearing this person talk. And to their credit, they've never done a stream like that since, as far as I know. But I don't know. I'll never understand why people should have to work for 7.25 an hour as prices go up on things. But whatever. I'm not even gonna bother trying to explain this stuff anymore. There's a lot of weird things that people believe that I don't quite get. Oh, let me stick that down a little bit. I always try to get that good angle. It doesn't work out too well for me. I remember there was this one video I watched where somebody was like, "Oh, let's see. Oh yeah, you can tell from that heat. Can we stick it even further over there? Man, that's one scary noise. If you can hear that, I'm sorry. Maybe I'll try to cool it down by turning this on. Maybe that'll help. I gotta say, that's the worst. One of the worst parts about streaming outside, man. These computers, they get warmed up and heating up and all the rest of that stuff. Let me see here. No, I didn't even notice that noise until right now. I'm probably not even gonna do it for as long as I usually go, because that sun is no joke. It's weird too, because I'm for the most part in the shade. I guess maybe if I had switched seats where I stream on the passenger side, that's really weird. Yeah, edited videos are a blessing and a curse because the blessing is that they allow you to formulate your thoughts and express them without stuttering or usually any misstatements. But the curse is that oftentimes the effort, and I hate to use this phrase, the juice isn't worth the squeeze, where you'll get views that are fairly similar to something you would get when you're not trying as hard. Like I remember I did that North Korea one, and it was I think it was at like 200. I was thinking to myself, I can get the same number by just doing a video where it's just me sitting in front of a camera and talking about it. I don't need to have any clips or pictures or news articles or any of that stuff. And sure enough, I've seen streams where it's just a bunch of people talking to each other. There's no special effects, no fancy graphics. And they will sit there and like actually have people watching. So what does that tell you? That all that fancy um, crafting and creating is just, it's just a thing people do. It doesn't mean anything. It's not actually tangible to changing stuff. I gotta tell you, going up to that place is real fun for me. I have a good time, and I highly doubt today will be my last visit. Although I was not expecting for them to have that event, they had so many people there. I was really confused because every time I would show up, it would be maybe like 10 people, 15 people. It was never hard for me to park. It was never like a full, just filled out place. Um, so that was really surprising. I just I don't know. I have a hard time explaining certain things, but I definitely didn't see that coming today with all those people there. I guess I could talk about some of the job stuff that happened this week. It's been more of the same old crap as far as like applying to place here and nothing back. And in fact, actually yesterday I had a place that wanted me to come and interview with them. I swear this is like a comedy. Every time there's a place that seems the most interested and they want to do an in-person interview, it's almost always like far away. I type in this place's address. They are, even with the freeway, like 40 minutes away. So I get on the freeway. I leave at the interview scheduled for 12 o'clock. I leave at 10:40 something. And there is so much goddamn traffic that I don't get there until like almost 12:20. And I called the person who was like in the office. I said, hey, I'm not going to get here probably until after 12 o'clock. So do you want me to still come, or should I just go home, basically? And they said they would wait for me because I gave them the amount of time it was going to take. And then when I actually came there, they weren't even the one that spoke to me. So the place seemed like it was interested, but it's just too far away. And I don't want to run the risk of trying to work somewhere that I have to get up damn near 3 hours before my shift even starts just to be there on time. So that's another dud. I can't tell you just how much I relate to this. Only just right. This is pretty much a comedy at this point with these jobs. Oh, I didn't even get, Megumi, you weren't here last week when I was talking about the insanity of that one place where, well, you were here for that Monday because I did the stream after the interview, but there was a place that interviewed me, and they asked me one question. Then I had a second interview where me and the guy got to go back and forth and actually have a decent dialogue. And I was invited to have a third one, which was an orientation in their building. I went to the building. They say go on the fourth floor, and all the floors have a little 3-digit number that's by their room. I look and look and look, and I cannot find this room. And I'm thinking I'm going crazy, or maybe it's in like one of the other rooms. And I realized that they wrote their room number in crayon on the wall by their room. So I go in there, and and I'm here on at the scheduled time. I'm like 10 minutes early. No one in there. Just dark, empty. It's not abandoned because it has stuff in there, so people have been using it. I sit in there for 20 minutes. No one shows up. I called them. No one answers back. And then I got up and left. That was really insane. But here's another insane thing for you. Last Friday, actually no, Tuesday of last week, I was contacted by a person. I was shocked as well. I was contacted by a person who works for a caregiver agency. Caregivers are people, they assist the elderly and those that have some kind of like physical ailments, need help with people. And I've done stuff like that in the past. It's one of the few areas I would say I'm experienced in. So I speak to this person in full on Thursday or Wednesday rather. They scheduled an interview on Friday. I talked to this person and the interviewer for roughly 30 minutes on Friday. And the interview seems to be going well. They seem to be enjoying speaking to me. I'm answering all their questions. After the interview is completed, they send me a request. They say they want to move forward, but they need 2 references that are relating to a job, professional, and 1 personal. So I don't send it to them on Friday because I'm doing a bunch of errands, but I do send to them on Monday. I don't send over the weekend because I know they're not even probably working. I send it on Monday, and right after I send it, I receive several documents for me to sign. And I'm thinking to myself, oh man, I've got the job finally, because why else would they send documents? So I sign all the documents, fill out the paperwork. They give me a password to go on their stupid website. And then after Monday, radio silence, like nothing, just no follow-up, no, hey, here's when you can first show up, nothing. So Tuesday passes, I hear nothing from them. Wednesday comes and I contact them. I call the number of the lady, the first one interviewed me that was like reaching out or whatever. And I say, hey, I filled out all the stuff on Monday. What happened? I haven't heard anything back. Because that's weird to me. Like you would fill out the stuff to work there. And then for 3 days, you just don't get any type of response or update. Usually from what I've seen, when you apply somewhere after, filling out the documents, they have you start actually doing stuff. So Thursday, I'm performing a civic duty, and I'm taking this person to their job. Like every time me and this person go to their job, I usually sit in the car with them for a little bit, for time to pass. But on Thursday, as I'm sitting in that car with this person, I receive an email, and it says, "Dear Justin, I would like to thank you for taking the time to discuss this role with us. I regret to inform you that we have decided not to progress further with your application. I wish you every success with your job search. Thanks again for your interest in our company." Oh, they love writing those Dear John letters. But I have to tell you, I've never, because I've applied for a whole bunch of jobs, so it's not a shocker to me when I don't hear anything back. I've never seen it to where you sit somebody down for multiple interviews, you have them fill out paperwork, and then after they do all of this, you're like, "Oh yeah, no, thank you. We don't want you." And before you do that, you ghost them. You don't say anything. You just go completely like all of your phones and computers have run out of juice and they can no longer be used until that person says, "Hey, what the hell's going on?" Man, I had half a mind to respond back and say, "Thank you for wasting my time. I wish you no success. Go to hell." Because like I said, what are they going to do? They can't double not hire me. So I was very tempted to write that because that really pisses me off. Like I'm fine when somewhere just doesn't say anything back. It's annoying, but there's not that like constant teasing, that like yanking of your chain, like you're going to get a job and then nothing. Like I'd rather just have places just not say anything. I feel like there should be some repercussions for wasting people's time like that. Well, employers have operated on this doctrine of they don't care about workers and unions are not as strong as they used to be. So what this means is that they can not only waste your time by not even hiring you, but even if they hire you, they won't even let you have the 3 month period where you're an employee on probation, and they can pick and choose if they want to keep you on longer or permanently. And they purposely will like get rid of you before that 3 month period happens. And let me tell you another example of how these places screw you. I contemplated after that email on Thursday, because I really did feel like I had just reached like the end of my rope. For the first time ever, filing for unemployment. In the past, I never had to do that because I had people that were assisting of me. But in the last 6 month period, that has not really been the case. So I look at the requirements, and they're talking about how you need to have proof that you worked the job for 12 weeks. And then it was like something went off in my mind, and I said, "Oh my God, if these, because remember the probation period is 3 months, right? 3 months is 12 weeks. So that means that by getting rid of me in this extremely expedited time of like 4 weeks or 3 weeks instead of the usual 3 months, these jobs screwed me over even further because they can get rid of you so quick that you can't even qualify for unemployment." God, talk about a damn home run of just being douchebags and pricks. California employers, the worst people on planet Earth. Time wasters, red herring, make it seem like they want you to work for them, and then a few days later they're like, nah. By the way, I never got to mention this because, but rest assured, I think in the next month or so we're going to end up having the most blame man of all time for, because there's been some really crazy stuff happening. I just want to throw this out here. A few months back, I was applying for some jobs, and one of them was for some like agency that drives stuff around, like a trucking company. And the place offered to pay for me to go to, like, I guess their school that they have to show people how to drive or whatever. In addition to pretty much seeming like they were interested. Right now, one of the current frustrating characters in my life was like, no, don't work for them. You just started driving. Don't do it. And now here we are, not even 3 months later, and they're talking about you need to get a job. 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 I'm like, but you were the same prick that told me not to take one. Who in several instances has said, do not take this job, don't take that job, don't take. So it's like you're damned if you do, damned if you don't with these people. They'll get mad at you and say you need to have a job, but then when you're applying for them and there's certain ones that seem like they're interested in you, they'll tell you not to take it. So that's why I said you're set up to fail. They made you fill out a lot of documents, sit down through many interviews, and not get hired at all. Yeah, I've never had that happen before where I filled out several pieces of paperwork. You should have seen it. It was like 12 documents for nothing. So they're on my list. I saved that email, and I'm gonna make sure, because they're gonna be begging for people to apply there in a few months. That all these places do that. I'm gonna make sure that I remember who they are so that I don't apply there ever again. Like, I've applied to places that have turned me down before a second time. Um, you know, because whatever, but not that one. I'm never gonna forget that they wasted roughly a whole hour of my time on stupid stuff with all these questions and explanations, and for nothing, no payoff. Oh, Megumi, what did you think of the you know what? I'm gonna give you an example. There was a dog place that the first time I applied there was over the summer, back in like June or July. And there are people, they watch people's dogs when someone goes out of town, whatever. And I applied. The guy sent me a message back. We don't need anybody else. We found somebody. Thank you. And guess what? 2-3 months later, September, October, you know who I saw begging for people to work for them? That same exact stupid company. So I went over there. and applied again. And then they finally sat me down for an interview and had me get mauled by the dogs for nothing. And I was very upset because it's like I like animals. I do not like having my time wasted, however. So I have no doubt that they'll probably be back on there and probably have been back on there begging for people to apply for their crap again. But I just thought that was so funny that like I applied one time before and the guy made it seem like they were so content with whoever they hired. And then like not even half a year later, they're right back to begging for people with their help wanted sign to sign up. That's the craziest part. Like places with help wanted signs are getting rid of employees in less than a month. Are sitting 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 people down for interviews and not hiring anybody, or hiring like one person and getting rid of them after, however many days. That's really nuts. Because my thing is, if you're so content with your company and the people you have there, don't put up no sign talking about we need people, help wanted. Yeah, constantly changing their minds. But Gumi, what did you think of the new video of my vindication? Originally with that video, I was gonna have like a little countdown montage of all the past stuff I made on this, like playing before, and I might still end up doing something with that in the beginning of it, but it just felt nice to talk about how for so long people tried to make it seem like if you weren't with a woman, there was something wrong with you and you're crazy and you're weird and you're ugly and you don't have a good personality and then you find out no, most of these guys are not with a woman, so it's actually normal to not be with one of them according to the statistics that came out less than 2 months ago. Seriously, I cannot tell you how many times across the World Wide Web I've had someone on either YouTube or some other site talk about me in some disparaging way over not being with a woman. Going up in the Discord server, they're not even supposed to be talking about it. They're supposed to be talking about a cartoon, and they're always talking about he's not with one because he's probably this and selfish, and it's like, are you serious? That's why I said my interest in having a dialogue with those people went like this. Because what's the point of talking to somebody, and I ask this very seriously, who is just going to assume you did something wrong or it's your fault? What is the point in trying to have a dialogue with the person whose default position is you're to blame? What purpose is there to that? Because remember, somebody could say, oh, well, you're trying to prove to them that that's incorrect. But why do I have to prove to them that what they're saying about me is false? That no one had to prove to them that what they think is a lie or incorrect. So why should the burden be on me to have to engage every single person who just draws a conclusion based on no evidence? While I haven't written a comment on the video yet, I did see it. It was great. I like that part, especially when you showed the picture of the article as proof. My favorite part is probably mentioning how all these guys come on here talking about do this, do that, do the other. And yet none of them have ever proven that they're with a woman. Not a single one. Not a single one of these boys has ever said, hey, man, look at this video of me and my woman in Hawaii. Or look at this Facebook profile of me and my woman in Texas. None. Out of that whole shoe shining, boot licking, behind kissing group that came and wrote nasty stuff about me year after year after year, not a single man among them showed proof or evidence that he was in a relationship. Not one. Oh, let me read what Kotsky Merchant wrote. And all I said was that I was single. I didn't mention anything about a woman. I'm intimidated. What's strong about them? I'm just saying, Megumi, that like I'll never understand how the side with proof is wrong, but the side with no evidence for anything that they say is correct. Yeah, not a single. You know what my theory is, and this is, I'm not a psychiatrist, so I'm not trying to sit here and say but it's just my theory. I think that all of those guys were full of crap. Like none of them were with a woman, and what ends up happening is many of them have been brainwashed into believing that, because how they always talk about like self-fulfilling prophecy, et cetera, et cetera. I really think a lot of them pretty much feel like if you believe it's not going to happen, then it won't happen. So they try to go in the opposite direction of that, but they reach an extreme of their own because they start trying to like trash talk every guy that they know isn't with a woman that's critical of them, to get in, I guess, to maybe get in good favor with women who still wouldn't like them anyway. God, it's really sad that people have like turned into this. Yeah, but like, why? What is that going to do for them by trash talking someone else about not being with the chick? I have no idea. Um, you know, I said before, you look at a lot of the stuff these people do when they hype up chicks, and we talk about how when you're with someone, you're supposed to actually enjoy being with that person. And I don't really enjoy having to go and exercise and become a millionaire just to go on a date. So if you don't get enjoyment out of being with the person, then what is the purpose of being with them? It's like it's just a lot of weird stuff that people expect you to do for very little, pretty much. And I mean, I've never understood what people get out of harassing someone over something that has nothing to do with them. But that's just what they are. They do a lot of things I can't wrap my mind around. You should have seen me on Thursday. I was so mad when I read that stupid Dear John-esque letter from that place. I was like, "Are you serious?" And I still have half a mind to send them some crazy thing because I'm so tired of having my time wasted. And it's like to sit there with them for multiple interviews and filling out that paperwork, and then to remember that they truly believed that they could just, after having me do all that, say nothing, and then go hire this other person, whatever. And it took me sending them a message and going, "Hey, what the hell?" for them to finally even do me the basic courtesy of saying up front, "Yeah, we don't want to." Imagine if the solicited advice was given 20 plus years ago. Dude, you'd have been laughed out of town. If you came around my dad or uh, any of his friends and said, "Hey, if you want to get with a woman, you have to sit here and become a millionaire and do push-ups and all this other stuff," you would have been laughed at. Because we already talked before about how the type of man that they're trying to legitimize not only is like extremely toxic because it's telling you have to be perfect to date someone who is far from it, but also doesn't exist. Like, remember, we've been over this. Most people who have money are old, and old people, you could say in general, do not have muscles. Um, so it's like pretty much any way you spin it, you're not going to find this perfect guy that is everything. And they're trying to legitimize wanting everything, and then like trying to it's just a really sad cycle because, like I said, none of it's about actually wanting to be with someone because you enjoy their company and spending time with them. It's just a lot of stupid stuff being said now. Man, I'm trying to think of anything else crazy happened with an employer this week. I think that was the most insane part. Um, Let me see what else. Because I filled out. I went to. I think I mentioned last week. I had a job interview every single day. Because on Monday it was that place that spoke to me before I streamed. The one that ended up being that having the place empty. Uh, and then there was another place that was supposed to call me that didn't. Then on Tuesday it was that the one where I drove like all the way across the damn state to go and sit up at that place for that I guess they specialize in helping autistic children. Um, and then that's when that lady from that same place that wrote the Dear John letter called me. Then Wednesday was when I went up to the orientation and got the abandoned building treatment. Um, Thursday was when I went to the job fair, and I had another interview scheduled somewhere else for another like adult care place, but I didn't go because they're like an hour away, and I just thought it'd be a big waste of gas to drive over there and get no result. And I was again, it's like I was already going to a job related thing that day anyway, so I just picked one over the other. Um, and then on Friday, that's when I had the 30-minute interview with that same place, with the one that sent me the Dear John letter on Thursday. So yeah, every day last week there was a job interview. It was either me having one on the phone or driving somewhere, and I'm just kind of like wiped out right now. Like I think this week I might not even apply anywhere because I'm just tired. Like I, I can't tell you how draining it is to just drive around all these different parts of the state to this building, then that building, and then find somewhere to park, and then I just get tired. I really am. I'm pretty swamped. Well, yesterday this girl told me that living alone was bad for my mental health and tried to make herself seem better than me because she's in a relationship. Yeah. Like I said, there are some relationships that benefit people, that improve the quality of their lives. And then there are a lot of other ones, especially with these random chicks online and even the ones in person that I would not personally recommend pursuing. Let me read Megumi wrote. But yeah, this job situation is extremely draining. While I understand you have to keep trying and hoping to get a position, it's not easy. Megumi says even if you have a lot of interviews, may sound good when you say it out loud on paper, but in practice you don't get hired by anywhere. Yeah, it's just a bunch of dead ends, and it's like you're not being benefited by this in any way. They're not putting you on a waiting list. Like hey, this person leaves, then we'll call you back. Nothing, just crap. I didn't even get to tell you that the person that worked at that center for children, like she sounds like she should be a phone, what operator. Like I might even upload that voicemail that she left. It sounded so like erotic. Hello, my name is, and I'm calling from the like. I was like, oh my god, what's wrong with these people? Yeah, I saw her in person when I went up there. Decent looking. Well, well, whatever. I'm not gonna say anything. Let's just say it's not hard to appeal to me in that way. But yeah, man, the voicemail was erotic. Like the way she said her name and the place. Dude, I wish I had recorded that call where she was all giggly and whatnot. I should have taped that thing. I'm telling you, when you get calls from random people, especially a lot of these chicks that work these different jobs, you can like kind of see the person's unique inflections flare out. Like I mentioned earlier, I went and ordered something from this museum, and the lady called me to say that she wanted to ask a couple of questions about my order, and she sounded so nervous. Like it was like, what? Because you would think they're gonna tell me I got canceled, or oh, its price had been increased. They were just asking me if I wanted to change the color of the pen because the one I ordered wasn't in stock anymore. I was like, yeah, sure. If you heard the way that she said her name, you really would have thought she was working at one of those uh, one of those pleasure facilities. I don't know. I might download that voicemail and stick it in my email, and then like put in the editor and cut out the part where she. But then again, it's hard because then if I get rid of the name, then you won't understand like why I said that. One makes you wonder how these people get their position. I swear, like some of them don't know what they're doing. They're not able to answer basic questions. I really, God, man, like I'm just gonna say this. I think a lot of people today get hired because they know somebody, they're friends with someone, um, and because like I'm telling you, it's not about skill. I've seen places where they mess up, where they give you the wrong thing, where they tell you the wrong crap, and they don't get fired. I really do sometimes. I maybe I'm just gonna put. Here's another theory. I do think it's easier to get hired in other states than here. I'll also say that. Seriously, that is what I ask myself too. Literally, yeah. Because I don't like sometimes, and I count myself as someone who does like just observe things. I look at the people that work these jobs. Just like I'm not talking about you're talking trash, but I just watch them, and to me, again, my opinion, I'm biased in favor of myself, obviously. I don't see where they're doing any better of a job than you or I could do. I don't see where, like, oh my God, this person is so well versed in whatever they're supposed to be knowledgeable of that it makes total sense that they have this job and I don't. I mean, it's crazy to me. Because, like I said, man, there's a lot of places I would actually really enjoy working for, but when they want you to have a shiny piece of paper, or you don't even know how people are getting hired at them in the first place, then there's the issue. But I'm serious. I've sat back and I've watched people in the places that they work in, and I just sit there scratching my head because I can't understand what is so special about them that they get not only to be hired in the first place, but to keep this position seemingly for months or years. But then you're this piece of crap that everybody feels like they can throw around, and maybe we'll hire you, maybe we won't, maybe we will, maybe we won't, maybe we will. I mean, you just get sick of it after a while. So, like, yeah, maybe this week I'll just go on vacation. I'll just say, you know what? Let me just relax, because I'm just tired of every day getting up for an interview or to drive over here. It's like it's stupid. Because remember, it's not like it's going somewhere. I'm aware there are people that lie on their CV. Oh yeah, where they tell you that they've been the manager at General Motors for 3 years, and then you call them up, and that person worked there for like a week. They're a little flunky. I'm upon my next application that I was the I don't know, the manager at for a specific branch of CNN, and then you find out I was the water boy. I had to go and put the park people's cars and put breath mints under their chairs. They really do sit there and make it sound like they're the most skilled, like what like I'm not even joking. I know certain things that if places were a little bit more lenient, I probably could get hired. Like, for example, you have people on YouTube who get paid to edit videos. I know how to edit videos. Um, you have, again, various museums in my state. I love history. there's some history that I don't even have to study. I just know it based off of previous research that I did. So that's why I said for me, I always felt like I'm never gonna believe I'm just this no talented piece of garbage that you can just throw around left and right. Like I don't personally believe that about myself. It's just that the jobs feel that way about everybody. So any specific talents or interests that you may have pretty much get shoved to the back burner. Man, you think I'm kidding? Sometimes I go to certain places and I just watch people. I watch the employees. I look at them and just kind of observe how they are. Like going to this library earlier today and looking at one of the ladies that work there. You know, she's knowledgeable of the different exhibits. She tells people where stuff is. Place isn't, extremely huge, so that shouldn't be too hard to do. But for the most part, she's kind of just saying hello to people and putting one hand over the other and just standing in place. And I was like, I could easily do that. Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely not just you going through this saga. Oh, I know it isn't. I've known plenty of people that have had the same issue. It's just that when you're dealing with unsympathetic relatives who tell you that you need to get a job as soon as possible, while at the same time telling you not to take this job, that job, or the other job, you're kind of like in a situation where it just borders on like lunacy at that point. I remember when people were saying that the pandemic made it harder to get a job. Like it was already hard. That's what really depresses me, just the idea that this is going to be a permanent thing forever where you just keep trying to get hired somewhere. Because like I said, there was a time where when I would get hired, I get excited and happy and jumping around. But now I just look at it as, okay, how long before this place finds something to be upset over, because during that hiring process they don't mention the little stuff that will end up being the nail in your coffin. They don't mention, hey, we have this website, and if enough people give you a bad review, uh we can terminate you, or people who've never even met you can terminate you. It always baffled me whenever I stop and observe the other workers in these places, and I said to myself that what they are doing is so damn easy. It really is. At that museum, all they do is tell you about whatever part exhibit they're in front of, and then like kind of just stand there. It's nuts, man. Like I'm and again, it's like I'm not trying to sit here and say people aren't working hard or whatever, because being up, standing up for like 7 or 8 hours, I get it, but it just drives me crazy that you watch a lot of these jobs and you really don't see where people are doing something that requires an extreme level of skill, and you're supposed to sit here and believe that you're just this piece of crap. So I said it's just frustrating. And it really pisses me off because I've been smeared for a long time as someone who doesn't want to work, because apparently when I apply for jobs, that's just for fun. I suppose I don't know what I would be getting out of it by just applying. Maybe I get some maybe like a little coupon or something. Every 10 applications you get $10 off at the market. But it's crazy to me that you can sit here and realistically apply to place after place after place and get like nothing out of doing that, and then be expected to keep trying. And like I'm tired of it, because I said before that a lot of these jobs, they won't even hire you full time. So even if you get hired by them, you still can't live. So it's damned if you damned if. By the way, now I think about it, there actually was another place. It's some kind of like after school program. Um, and I answered all their questions. And I want to mention this. The site I use, I always put full time in the search history, search engine. So they have their job listed as full time, part time, which means that the hours are kind of like flexible depending on who the person is, but they're also offering full time if you want to work full time. I answer all the questions because they're asking me, am I going to be available from 2 to 6 p.m.? And I said, yeah, but that's not enough hours to actually live off of. And then the person responds, this is a part-time position. And then after that, I didn't say anything. You guys think you're really slick, huh? Putting your job under full-time, knowing damn well that you don't actually intend on hiring anybody for no 40 hours a week. Yeah, real clever. They thought they were really, really, really smart. They're like, we're going to put it under part-time, but then also full-time. So people who want to work 40 hours a week will see our job and think that they're going to be, because, schools have plenty of like volunteers, people that help the students study, and they work during school hours as well. I've seen this at schools I've attended. So, it was them being really like trying to do something slick. Oh, we're going to expand the number of people. So when you go looking for a full-time job, you land on ours by mistake. It's like, whoops. Oh, this isn't full-time. Goodbye. Sorry. That's just plain false advertising. They don't care. For them, any person that sees their crap position is fine. I can't wait to be a Uber driver during the 8 to 12 or 2 shift and then have to go and work at this place. I mean, this is insane, man. People were not lying when they said in this economy you might need 2 jobs just to survive. They weren't. When you look at the prices of rent, and like just all the little slick stuff that these places do to not have to hire somebody full time, the people were not lying when they made that estimation, because I'm seeing it every day. If you saw how tiny some of these houses were that want $2,000 a month, we're getting to a point where if you want to sleep in an outhouse, it might end up being like $900 or even higher than that. A little one-room shack. They're like, all right, give us $1,000 a month. So go to hell, man. That's crazy. I'm not even joking. Next time I go to that museum, I'm just going to talk to the employees and just be like, hey, how'd you guys start working here? Tell me the secrets of the mystery. Because I go on their site, they don't say anything about careers or hiring or like I don't know where these people sprout out from. No, it really drives me crazy. Like, having 2 jobs, damn. I guess say goodbye to any of your free time. I'm not even joking. You have some people that work 10 hours every day, Monday through Friday, and then sometimes on the weekend as well, and they're still like barely scraping by. It's really crazy. Jim, listen, I'm not interested in hosting you on my streams anymore because someone's, and I'm not going to say who it was, I'm just going to call him Deep Throat. They sent me a memorandum of your various crimes and affiliations, and one of the things you said about me in the statements that they recorded was that you preferred not to associate with those that were not to the religious right. So you would prefer someone like Billy Graham or Jerry Falwell. You can go over and listen to those people. I'm not interested in catering to your specific religious desires. Just because I'm not a televangelist, you look down on me. They said when you watch my stream, you always stand in front of the computer and you just go like this to symbolically and internally know that you have a low opinion of me. So yeah, you can go listen to those other people. You shouldn't have to be a pastor just to get you to show up on a stream and actually speak positively of the person that's there. I get you need to work and get paid to pay bills, but damn, that's nuts. Is that really a life? I don't think so. Well, see, that's one of the reasons why I had preferred in the past to live with someone else, because if two people split it, like let's say you have 2,000 a month as rent, which I think is ridiculous for the size of some of these houses, but just 2,000 a month. That means that if two people work for 2 full weeks every month, Monday through Friday, 8 hours, that means they can, like, realistically, they could both have part-time jobs and pay and be able to like pay that rent every month. Of course, I'd recommend having two people having full-time jobs because they both get to save their money, but that's besides the point. All I'm getting at is that's where I just think it's so depressing that um, there are relationships that I have seen where people actually like help each other, and it's like, I guess for me, it's such a parody to live in the gold digger era where people are like, if you want to get with a woman, you have to buy her this. It's like, but I'm not buying any of these chicks anything if I'm trying to take care of myself. To hell with them. They can go kick rocks. Cost of living is just outrageous. It really is. Doesn't help that so much stuff is so expensive, especially the rent. And remember, and I've said this before, um, you have to also factor in the utilities. Like for me, every week it's about 50 or 60 for food. And then gas to fill up the whole tank is probably like another 50 or 60. So on average, even if you're not paying rent, you're still going to end up spending at least like $200, $300, like to feed yourself and to get around. Hey, Jim, I'll never forget what Falwell said about like labor unions, that people should stop asking for so much money and start asking for more religion. People that pray more earn more or something. It was I just, God, the moral majority. It's really crazy that I found an old news article from like, it could have been 83, 87, where, because Carter is like someone who you'll be very hard to find um like actually curse and just speak really nasty to somebody. And Falwell said something about Carter, and then Carter responded by saying he could go to hell. And then Falwell Jr. was supposed to write a book with Carter before the pandemic happened. I was thinking to myself, that's really crazy that Carter was like, not only is like one of only 3 presidents to give a speech at Liberty University, but was before the virus going to write a book with the son of the same person he told to go to hell. Man, that's a heck of a character arc. Megumi says, yeah, I get what you mean, dude, but finding that is so difficult. You could argue if you really obtain that anymore in this era. Oh, I don't believe it anymore. I think it's every man for himself, which is why I said that a lot of those guys that come on here telling you to do X, Y, and Z for a woman are trying to lead you off a cliff, because they should know that you have to take care of yourself at a bare minimum. So to sit here and try to make it seem like the only reason you or I exist is so we can service somebody with a triangle, I just don't think is helpful to anybody. No, Jim, I know every time you call somebody intelligent, you're actually trying to say they're stupid, because in that same memorandum I was sent, you called me smart like 5 times. And every time you did it, they said you would take your fingers and cross them like this and stick it right behind your back. I really would call that place again just to get that woman's voice on tape and like play it on here. But I can't think of any reason to call them again. Like, what am I going to say? Hey, you guys have any more job offerings, or are you hiring still? After not reaching out to me for over 2 weeks after I went to your stupid place and sat down for that dumb interview. No, Jem, we know about your religious inclinations. You are a stiff member of the religious right. Your heroes are Jerry Falwell, Billy Graham, um, all those different characters. Those are the people you actually look up to, and you don't believe in the separation of church and state. You said that if I were to win an election, because if I were to win, that I wouldn't actually be the person that won, but it would be the Pope. That the Pope would be controlling my seat in the House, and it would just be me on puppet strings. Like I would somehow every week find a way to go to the Vatican and go, yes, Pope, absolutely, Pope. That was really the craziest part of the 1960 election, that the Pope was going to be in control of the White House. Man, people really despise certain religions. It's sad. No, you've been exposed. I'd like to thank the New Jersey FBI for revealing to us everything and anything about you. Um, you've been surveilled for roughly at least the last few weeks. So you your goose has been cooked. All the covers have been pulled. And today you're going to be making your final appearance on one of my streams because you're going to go over and report to the RNC that your operation has been foiled. Oh, damn, where did that click? Must have been all the Ukraine comments. Dude, I don't know what's going on over there anymore. It just feels like this conflict's going to drag out for a long time. Neither side wants to have peace, and you have a lot of people who just want to give Zelensky everything and anything. So, well, you'll probably be seeing some more carnage in the next couple of weeks and months. Wasting my taxpayer money. I'm sick of them. You know, what was I gonna say? I'm trying to think. I had a thought, but then when Jem came here and got exposed, it all went away. Hey, Megumi, do you think that? Let me try to remember what it was. There was something that somebody did. Oh, do you understand the hypocrisy of telling somebody they need to find a job as soon as possible, and then telling them not to take various jobs that are offering to hire them? No, but like, what's the point of that? You're going to tell somebody they need to find a job as soon as possible, and then when they apply to places, you're going to say, that's not a real job, or you're not qualified enough for this job, or don't take this job. You get how crazy that is? Remember, I told you people are set up to fail. Oh, Jim, you weren't here for it earlier. We were talking about Fat Burger and how they charge like $16 for, yeah, people do need to shut up, but they charge like $16 for a burger. And I was saying that out of all the fast food places I go to, that's the only one. It doesn't make any sense. I agree. That's the only one where it costs more than maybe like $7, $8, $9 for a burger. And I was saying that because of how high that burger is, I don't ever go there anymore. And this person's response was, well, it tastes really good, and it's about how good it tastes. I'll tell you, people, they love like ripping themselves off. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna have something. I'm gonna have something you can get anywhere else for like less than half the price, and then I'm gonna have some like goons go out and go, but his version tastes really good. God, man, like who the hell wants to pay almost $20 for a little damn burger? You know, if you knew them as well as I do, you'd know they actually don't, and that's why it's so sad because people really do take these positions that are antithetical to their own benefits. Like a person who, um, I mean, like people on minimum wage are like, yeah, let me get this thing that costs too much. That's a crazy amount for just that. And I was saying the same thing about the shakes at Chick-fil-A. I used to go there every Saturday for like a whole month and get a burger, some fries, and a shake, and it was like $12 altogether. Shake's like $2, the rest of it's 10. I started going up there in January. They bumped up the price for the shake to like $4. Now it's I think five. It's like $4.50 or $5 now. And I was saying that the shake is. I'm not going to buy one because I'm not about to physically show you this for that shake, but that thing is like this big. Whereas if you go to McDonald's, for example, you can get shakes that are medium or large for like $2 or $3. Right, but I'm saying that whether I like the taste of the one at Chick-fil-A more, which is whatever to me because it's all the same thing, it's all milk and whatever. I'm gonna go to McDonald's for a shake that doesn't cost so goddamn much. That's tinier than my hand. That's like the only thing that they did that with, where they bumped the price up twice, like they doubled the price. God, man, you would think they were importing this milk from Germany. That's crazy. The shake is almost as much as the damn burger. It's all powdered milk. Yeah, I'm not buying anything from them. Well, Megumi, the sad part to me is that besides the shake, everything else has largely stayed the same price. Like a burger is maybe like $7 by itself, $10 for like a combo, or 11, 12. I mean, like what I'm getting at is think of how much smarter it would have been to, instead of increasing the price of something by twice as much, just offer larger sizes. So two something for the small one, three for the medium, four for the big one. Then I don't think anybody would be complaining. But that's not what they did. They wanted to be cheap bastards. So they took the little shake and increased its price by twice as much and thought we were going to play ball. But I'm the kind of person who, again, if I think something costs too much, and I know I can get it from somewhere else, both bigger and cheaper, I'm going to go to the other place and get it bigger and cheaper. Yeah, that would make reasonable sense. Jem, we were talking about this before, that like a lot of people are like lazy enough to just sit there and put up with that. Like I was talking about how when I went to Alabama and I got hungry at like 3 in the morning, I went to Arby's, and in the drive-through, remember this is fast food, right? There's like 8 cars all backed up going into the side, and I was thinking to myself, I'm not about to sit here and wait 40 minutes for fast food. That defeats the purpose of fast food. But there are people who will sit there and put up with that. I wonder if it is due to the high demand. But like I said, okay, every day I go there, people order something from there, and I'm not going to tell you that I have statistics on what people order the most. What I am going to say is, it doesn't make sense to me to bump up the price of something that small by that much and expect people to still want it. So whatever their reason was, they need to decrease that thing. Yep, I don't wait over 10 minutes for fast food. Me neither. I'm not gonna wait half an hour to get served. Are you serious? I'm just saying, I think it's really crazy. It costs that much for that little tiny shake. I used to have Chinese all the time when I was a kid. Like I used to like the chopsticks and the fortune cookie and the rice, and how they would come in that little like white origami like packaging. It was fun. Maybe one day this week I'll go and grab some from somewhere. No, I used to know how to eat with chopsticks, like to how to like position them in your hand and grab the rice with the. I wasn't that fast with them, but I could do it. I don't think I could do it now because it's been so long. But unfortunately, I have been victim of waiting for long periods of time for fast food. The moment it passes like 10 minutes and I can't get served, I am leaving the shop. I just think it's crazy. Like it's so antithetical to what a fast food place is supposed to be, where it you order something and it takes like 20, 30, 40, 50 minutes for it to for it to like actually come to you. I think that's nuts. Because like I said, what's the point of it being fast food if it's going to take just as long? Like I can go in the grocery store and be out of there faster after getting all the stuff I want than going to some of these fast food places because the line is so damn long. I might be in a store for maybe like 20 because I know where all my stuff usually is. I'll be in there for maybe like 15 minutes, 20 minutes. Some of these lines, they'll have you wait for 30. Make your own sandwiches too faster. Dude, they have some of that stuff you can microwave for like 6 minutes or 7 minutes. So like if you actually took it out the thing, you could have it done by the time it took to drive up to a place. That's why I like TV dinners because I just got tired of every single time you're hungry. Let me drive over here. Let me go over there. I like getting all my stuff, buy it for a week, and now I have to go back to market for another like fourth of a month. I most certainly prefer that. Yeah, that too. Even when you order your food, there's this huge damn delay for your food. You want to talk about a huge delay? If you saw that traffic yesterday, I mean, Jesus, I couldn't. I was shocked by how bad that was. TV dinners in a crunch, too salty on average for me. Well, I'm not recommending that because you can get other stuff too. Like you mentioned the sandwiches or whatever. I'm just saying that I mean, there's plenty of stuff you can get without that enormous weight. And I mean, like the stuff if you want to talk about like TV dinners being too salty, I could say that the stuff you get at fast food places isn't healthy either. So, I mean, it's just it's like tit for tat. All I'm saying is, if I want to know I'm gonna have something to eat, and I have to keep buying food every single damn day, which ended up happening this week, where not with me buying it, but someone else. It was stupid, but I'll go and get stuff from the market and have that for the week instead of having to keep going up there over and over. That's much more preferable. And Jem, I could say you're too salty for me. Some of the nasty stuff you're writing about people, uh, it's all very toxic. If you're lucky, you're not a Pokemon. Otherwise, you'd be a poison type, very venomous. But the plus the gas using to go to the market. Well, some markets aren't that far away, um, so it's not that much. But I mean, like what I'm talking about. Like I'd rather go to the market and probably that's like 5 miles away. And then, like, instead of because these job interviews, they've been all over the place. They want you to go 50 miles, 60 miles, 30 miles. I said that yesterday, that interview I did, that's going to be the last one where it's a place that's more than a 30 something minute drive from my place. After this, that was it. No more freeways, no more, 900 cars. I leave at 10 and still show up late to something that was scheduled at 12. That's done. No, it's over. No, it was an hour. Are you interested in seeing the new Super Mario movie by any chance? Yeah, but I don't know if I'm gonna see it in theaters because I don't really have anyone I can go up there with. Maybe I'll just wait for it to come out on DVD. It doesn't need my money. It's already the highest grossing video game movie ever. So I'll probably just wait until it's on DVD or something. It's not something that I would rush out of my way to see, but it's something I think I'll eventually just sit down and watch. I'm probably more interested in Flash or Spider-Verse 2 or something. Well, Jim, I mean, your family is financed by Nintendo, so every time they start talking about anything Mario, we have to call it into question. You know, you guys are getting all types of money from that corporation to promote their games and other products. That's why when you went to your when you graduated from or excuse me, when you celebrated your 20th anniversary of marriage, you made sure to have your little red M hat on. They said it may have been you who got married, but it was really Nintendo that was celebrating. I just feel like that's something I'd like more if I could see it with somebody else. So I'm gonna see if I can find someone. And if that's not the case, then I'll just wait for it to come on DVD, not DVD, but digital or whatever. Well, Jem, I don't want to be rude by asking you your age. You know, I remember when I was at the that last job I had, there was a woman who had, I think she had like two kids, and she asked me how old I was, and I said it, and she's like, "Oh, you look younger than you are." And I was just thinking to myself, man, imagine if she were a guy, like a man, and she said that to me, like let's say I was a female, it would have been a whole new scandal. But I guess when these chicks talk to men, they think they can get away with anything. I'm not even the kind of person that would try to make a big deal out of that, but I was just thinking that, yeah, if the shoe was on the other foot, it would have been a whole scandal. Because when I was there, I never said anything about the way anybody looked. And trust me, there were plenty of chicks that, I wouldn't mind taking to the back alley, but it's like I'm not gonna get in trouble over, any of this stuff. She would have said you were rude. Yeah. Well, I'm afraid to even compliment any of them because I was at a retailer and they gave me some kind of like harassment seminar. And they said, and I kid you not, that if you told a female coworker that she was so hot, she should quit working at that company to pursue a modeling career, that would be harassment. Even though you're saying something nice about the person, it still would be harassment. So I just threw my hands up in the air and I said, um, I wrote it down here in my little notebook, and I said, "Thou shall not ever praise appearance or woman in any capacity." I scribbled it right on that first page. I said, "Thou will never ask out woman and expect any decency or good ending from it." It's written in the scripture. This era is the worst, man. They are going overboard. Imagine how crazy I would look if some woman came up to me and she was like, "Oh, you look so nice. You should stop being a commentator and pursue a modeling career." And I'm like, I felt so uncomfortable. Please, she said I look nice. Somebody help me, save me. I mean, what would like? Are you kidding me? But that's what this has turned into. Where if you insult the way someone looks, it's bad, and it should be bad. But even if you say something nice, it's too much too. So I said, dude, I just stay away from them. If I came on here and I told you that some woman made me feel uncomfortable because she said I look nice or said I was hot or whatever, You realize that Jem wouldn't even be typing. He would have laughed himself to death from the insanity of me like being disturbed by being complimented. You know, he would be gone. He would have went, and then his heart would have just given out. I'm telling you, people treat grown women like little kids. Because when we tell little kids, oh, you see that big bad man coming up and saying something to you, you know, hide from him. Don't say anything to him. You don't talk to strangers. But even grown women are like afraid to, like, I mean, I don't understand the logic of, oh my God, this person complimented me. I'm afraid. Like, what is that? So yeah, they've really become adult children. I don't care how many jobs or hours they work or how many kids they have. They're like kids themselves. The ways that people coddle them and take up for them. It is stupidity. Like I said, I'm just tired of all the nonsense. You know, I think one of the reasons they consider compliments as harassment now is due to the amount of compliments they receive from guys as a whole. Well, yeah, but it's like you understand that thanks to their egos, they think men who don't even compliment them want to be their boyfriend. Like I told you about the broad that worked at that last job I had, where I asked her if I could still speak to her outside of being there because of the schedule differences that we had. You know, can I get like a number, an email? Any way I can like feasibly be able to contact me. This bastard, I asked them what are their interests. This prick sends me a message talking about, I am traveling across the globe with my boyfriend and his family. And I'm like, I don't care. What does this have to do with? But then I thought to myself, oh my God, this scrawny little broad thinks I'm trying to date her by asking for an email. Like, oh, get out of my. And sure enough, I never respond to that crap. That was an insta done for me. That was a death kiss. Lucky I don't have any napkins in here. When she sent that email, remember I asked, "What are your interests?" Just like, "What are your hobbies?" Just some people ask me all the time. When she responded by saying that she was traveling with her boyfriend and his family, she did this. She gave me that death kiss. That she killed any desire I had to speak to her. When I read that crap, I was done. My interest in talking to her went, it was gone. Society is failing. So what? Compliments are positive words. Dude, I'm not even joking. Some of these chicks act like if you're a guy and you just say hello to one of them, you're trying to be their boyfriend. Like they really think all the men around them have launched these campaigns like to date them and are like trying to think of ways to corral them and curry favor. And I'm like, dude, all I did was ask, what are your hobbies? I didn't need to know if you were going around the world. She botched a potentially chilling positive friendship between. Yeah, because I spoke to this person at length multiple times and I was up there. We were talking about the news, food. It was, like I had enjoyable dialogues with them and they botched it. They ruined it. So I hope it was worth it. Talk about, I'll see you in the office next year. No, you won't. We're gonna leave you in 2022. You're not getting any resurgence or anything by me. You're going to be a footnote. To hell with you. Seriously, that stuff is just so obnoxious, man. They all think that you're trying to be their boyfriend. Protecting it from what? Am I going to grab it through the screen? Like, what? It's stupid. It's dumb. It's dumb. She's dumb. Her answer was dumb. The whole thing is just a cavalcade of ridiculousness and ego and foolishness. All three mixed together, just swirled in one. Like somebody took a pot and just put them together. It's really dumb, man. She didn't even answer. That was my point. She was so like desperate to, I guess, stick up this barrier in front of me that she didn't even answer the actual question I answered. Dude, imagine how, like, I get asked pretty much every job interview, what do you like to do? I say I like to draw, I like to write, like to make videos, edit stuff, whatever. Imagine what I would look like if they asked me, what are your hobbies? And I go, oh, me and my girlfriend are traveling to the Bahamas next week. Like, what does she have to do with anything? It's just weird, man. That's why I said stuff with me and women could never work, because there's, even when you try to like just be cordial in a non-romantic way, they do two things. They either make direct erotic references, which one of them is actually doing right now, or they think like they take everything you do toward them as you trying to get with them. I got one right now sending kisses and blowing stuff and hearts. I said if this one sends one more goddamn kiss or heart, it's gonna be screenshots galore, because I'm sick of this. Like, and I asked them point blank, why are you sending this? No response. That's why it's so obnoxious, weird, left field, strange, warped, and all sorts. She better not send one more harder kiss, or we're gonna be click. You'll be seeing that. God, what a weird group of people. Those hearts and kisses are meaningless. No. I would only listen. I'm aware that they're nothing. Okay. Uh, who's sending you these messages? Some shit. Yeah. But I was saying, I'm aware that they're useless, but the person who's sending them is trying to convince me that they're not. Um, that's why I'm saying that if they keep sending that stuff, if she keeps sending that stuff, it's gonna be a whole new video. It might not even just be about her. It'll be about coded language, because we talked about that before, where you have chicks that like purposely say things that sound kind of romantic to get you to be interested in them, or make it seem like they're interested in you, but it's all BS. Like the woman that said, any type of friendship or relationship. It's like, yeah, you know what you're saying when you differentiate the two. You know what he wants, but you're not going to give it. So to hell with you. All right, I know that all too well. She better not say a single heart or kiss ever again. I'm tired of those things. That needs to die. Like that whole like flirtation thing they try to do. Because again, it's just people on the computer talking. It doesn't evolve. It doesn't turn into anything, Not it, dude. Just dating is toxic. Trying to court a woman is toxic. It's all just trash. it is an extremely toxic set of scenarios. You have women who you can just say hello to and they think you want to be their boyfriend. You have women who um you can just say, I mean, dude, like they are absolutely convinced that every single man they encounter wants to be with them. I don't know why this thing is acting like this, but whatever. That's why, to keep myself sane about this, I try to think back 20 plus years and see how things were back then. I don't care what anybody says, they were way better. You didn't see any groups of guys that weren't able to get a woman. You didn't see 50 guys talking to one broad on Twitter. It's like that stuff didn't exist. And that's why I said that there's a disconnect between me and a lot of the like older adults, because the ones that are in their like even the early 40s, they grew up like and went into adulthood without the computer crap. Like one of them laughed at me when I told her that if you were probably like 20 something years younger and arguably could still do it, you would have had men all over you if you were just posting pictures. They didn't believe me. So to them, like the internet really isn't and that's why I said that, like, I do believe for a lot of older people, ones in their 40s and 50s and whatnot, the internet really isn't a thing that they care too much about. As like when it comes to either trying to get a date or trying to meet someone, because a lot of them will go to bars and other in-person places. So it's a lot easier, in my opinion, for like an older couple to emerge out of this crap, because they're not like the internet's not even a factor. But for a lot of people that showed up when this stuff was first kicking off, it's hell on earth, man. It's a bunch of guys trying to lead you off a cliff, and a bunch of women that are just dead set on wasting your time. And neither group has your best interest, but they'll try as hard as they can to convince you that they do. Oh, you can get a woman to love you if you do this, all that stupid crap. Was so much more better and organic. Yeah, this did not exist. But like I said, men are waking up. They're realizing how demented the modern female is. So there is some kind of silver lining that's emerging, if I could mention that. Damn, that's a scary reality to adhere, but I know it's true. I'm telling you that a lot of older people do, like, just they don't see online as that big of a factor with regard to meeting people or doing much of anything. I'm hard pressed to think of an adult I know who's over 40 that has Instagram or Facebook or like you'd be surprised. Just for a lot of them, the internet maybe is a thing they might use at work, and that's it. I see that Jim left. He said dating is toxic. That was his farewell message. He was like, "Remember me with these 3 words: dating is toxic." I'm gonna spit one final truth, and then I'll disappear. I think I mentioned before, and when I did that many options video, I had a woman that I was what do you call it, like talking to on Reddit, and she said she got messaged by 20 guys, and I offered to help clear the field by like just leaving her alone, and she was like, "No, don't go." And then you find out that she was dating some dude in real life. It's like just this big waste of time for everybody involved. I guess I should give Megumi an update on the oh, Jem, I'm gonna try this week to call the Secretary of State. I've been delaying it because like I said, this whole week and the week before, I've been driving around the whole damn neighborhood and city trying to get a job somewhere. But I'll try to call them again and iron out questions. And yeah, I paraphrased Scott Walker, the old stupid Wisconsin governor, when he dropped out of that Republican primary. He said, I'm going to help by clearing the field. That's what he said. So I offered. I was like, yeah, if you want to talk to these other 19, 18, 28 guys, all right, I can go and you can talk to them. Oh no, don't leave me. That's what I said, man. It's just they love wasting men's time. That's the problem, the parallel dating. We have to start making some more terms for these people and their little weird stuff that they do. Like when a woman talks to dozens of guys or multiple guys at once, we should call it what's it? I'm trying to think of a word to describe it. It's something like like binders full of men or something. Remember Romney's phrase, binders full of women? We should have binders full of men where they have a whole list of guys. You know, maybe for the ones where they meet somebody in person, but some of them really do just sit on the computer talking to men from other countries and states, and they have no intention of meeting any of these guys. Like, I'm serious, I tell you, if I really believed a woman was interested in me, and I'm not talking about no stupid crap where, oh, you DM this person for like 2 days and they say they love you. I'm talking about like weeks and months of speaking and getting along and bond or whatever. I would go to where they are, but I'm not about to sit here and go on some financial suicide mission traveling around the world to, meet Sally from Canada, who's just as bad as Sally from America. I mean, it's stupid. Apps full of dudes. Insta dating. Did you hear about that? I did not. All I know is people have been doing and saying a lot of stupid stuff. Somebody told me that Jem would be more offended by a man wearing female attire than a female who couldn't afford to take care of her own children. I believe that. If they don't like what they see, they ignore you on the spot. Well, that's why I said all that personality stuff doesn't matter, because if people are meeting on stupid dating websites where all they do is see a damn picture, then it doesn't matter if I'm funny or smart. It'll be the same old crap. You don't look the way someone would like, so you're just damned if you do, damned if you don't. Yeah, I don't know. I'm considering that more and more, because, like I said, for me, it's just a thing where you kind of get a little bit nervous about doing something that other people don't do. Um, like I said, it's not illegal. It's just I just have to get over that fear of the feeling of like everyone staring at you, and then when I get over that, I'll probably be open to ever having that stuff on. Like I said, I just like all those different designs and the uniqueness, and it's just so unfortunate, that like, and I know you weren't that big on this conversation, Jem, but me and Megumi have talked a few times about how a woman can wear anything a man wears, but if a man wears something that's for women, it's the end of the world. Like as far as like people stare and gawk and whatnot. I don't know. I just have to get to a point where I can accept. I guess if I look at it from the perspective of anything that is said to you in relation to this, like people already had a problem with you before, so it really makes no difference. Um, I'll be more inclined to not care. Like oh, if you wear women's stuff, women will not like it. They already didn't. So, you know, if I can just keep that perspective, I'll probably be more confident about doing something like that. Like I said, it's hard to go against the grain in a lot of instances. It's hard to see a trend or pattern that people tell you to engage in and then basically buckend it because you know there are what are considered societal norms, and if you deviate from the script, you're always worried about pushback or things of that nature. So it's not easy to just be like, hey, to hell with them. They are looking for excuses to judge. But my thing is, they'll judge you already. They've judged me over regular men's attire. They've judged me over what they think my personality is. So that's why I said, when you really think about it, what is the overall difference that you can expect from wearing that stuff? Like, do you like maybe somebody says something, but I mean, it's not like when they say something, they can make you take it off. So like, I'm 6 tall, dude. I'm gonna have to dispute that one. If you go on Amazon or any of these other sites, they have clothing for them that's like 2X's and X3 and all the rest of that. So I'll have to say I don't know. They come in all shapes and sizes. Oh, Jam, I didn't even get to tell you that the Kennedy Library was having a sale on their products, and I don't know what they did to that library's museum store because it used to be really nice looking, and they changed it or something. And they were selling some spoons for like $5, a little discount, right? And I kept like thinking people don't care because people just don't go to these places that often. Every time I go, it's like maybe 10 people in there. The normal like price spoons like $10, so it's like 50%, right? Dude, those things were flying like hotcakes. I put three in my cart one, like I think it was on Thursday or Wednesday. I didn't order, I just put them in the cart. And I leave and come back on the site on Friday. I try to put three in my cart again. It says that's too much stock for some that they no longer have. And then I go on there today and they've completely sold out. I was like, damn, those Kennedy spoons. Well, you know what? They can keep their candy spoon. I'm gonna get an LBJ spoon. I'm gonna get a Bush 41 spoon. They can keep their candy spoons with their discounted price. Dude, I couldn't believe how well how quickly those spoons sold. It's like, what? They were flying out of that store like hotcakes. Oh my God. I should have ordered that thing on Thursday. I had no idea. They bought them like crazy. Oh yeah, I've ordered from that store before. I had do I have the ball right here? Um oh, they probably threw it. Oh, there it is. Yeah, I got this from the library store. So I've ordered from these stores before. It was just kind of crazy that like the stuff was on sale and I didn't expect it to be as like flying off the shelves as it was. And they just bought all of them in like an extremely, like, just a few days. It went from being a few there, whatever, an unknown amount, and then all of them were gone. So I'll probably be getting the Johnson spoon instead, or the Bush 41 spoon. Yeah, I like these a lot. That's the Carter one. Yeah, I like to keep some of these around just for good luck. A lot of dealers stock those stores for deals. Well, I think it's really obnoxious when you order something and they don't have it, because it's like, why would you say that you have it in stock when you actually don't? But no, I'm not surprised. These places are run by scalpers. Like I've seen mugs that on the library store like $30, and then you can go on eBay and get it for 15. I ordered a Gerald Ford mug that on the at the store $30, on eBay 15. Which one do you think I got? Like I said, man, I'm someone that likes a lot of this stuff, so I felt very bad that I couldn't get my Kennedy spoon. I think that's one of the. Let me see here. Um, no, because I was gonna say that's like one of the few ones I haven't tried to get anything from because their story is really lame compared to the other ones. Like almost all the stores are on the same government site, and the Kennedy one is like on this weird site that's part of a bunch of other retailers. I don't know how to explain it. It's like they used to have their own site, and then something happened to where now they're on some other place. But yeah, I'm very disappointed in Gem, who I know is very disappointed in me. So we've double disappointed each other. Gold, plated, or silver. Oh, they were silver. That's just that gold plated. But look, I'm gonna call the Secretary of State this week. I should have more free time because I'm not about to sit here and break my neck trying to get one of these stupid places to hire me. Um, like I said, I'm very serious about wanting to at least run for something one time. So I just want to run through all the questions. Like I'm going to make a list of questions and then I'll ask the person the stuff when I call them. No, Jim, this would be a completely grassroots campaign of like, the big money of the California Democratic Party versus a candidate who goes door to door, who has like actually shown themselves in the community. Like I want to see who actually talks about the issues. Like I didn't see one person who could tell me what my representative's stances on issues are. Like just it's all I don't know. I just hate that. Yes, please run. California needs you. Well, I'm just saying, I really don't like how a lot of the politicians out there are. Oh, I'm just kind of thinking about how it's going to be a real tough one, man. Going to all those doors. Like I'm really just picturing because you'll have some people who say no, some people are argumentative, some people ask personal questions. I'm already predicting it because remember I'm not going to be running the sit in my house and somebody else does stuff for me campaign. You're actually going to see the candidate and talk to them. Megumi says, so I wonder regarding how the work is over there in the U.S. In the workplace, do you usually have foreigners working there or not? Um, well, it depends what you mean by foreigners. If you're talking about people who live here that were born somewhere else, but they live here, they work here, that happens a lot. A lot of people come to America for jobs that pay them lousy wages because over in where they come from, they're getting paid like literal cents per the hour or day. Um, but yeah, there's a lot of people that are from somewhere else that come here and work. Like I said, the difference between me and them is that a lot of them work simply because they want like something close to a wage that's not a couple of pennies. Like if you see the wages in some of these other countries, you'll really understand what kind of sweatshop we're running globally. But that's why for them that little 7.25 crap is decent. Okay, so the same situation over there with foreigners as it is here. Hey, the U.S. looks at the U.K. and it's like you and I are not so different. And the UK is like, I'm not like you. You have starvation wages. And the U.S. is like, true. You chose your path. I chose my path. And your workers found you amusing for a while. But the one thing they love more than well, I'm not even going to try to take a sympathetic angle with them. They can go to hell. I should have said I chose my path. Referring to UK, you chose the way of free healthcare. I chose the for-profit system. You chose the public option. Well, that's actually incorrect on my part because it's just single payer over there. I keep having to remind myself. Oh, UK is definitely more livable. UK doesn't have daily mass shootings, no for-profit healthcare. I mean, you won't see me talking trash about them. I told you one of the reasons they're even able to do all this Red Scare stuff with the healthcare system over here is because, like, most Americans really do not know about healthcare, like, in other countries or the policies of other countries. Like, yeah, they know what dictators are, they know about maybe political prisoners, but as far as, like, hey, this country has free college, hey, this country has single payer healthcare, they have no clue. Uh, did I ever try to meet someone from there? I think I did. So Jim. I'm gonna have to dispute that one. I'm not about to sit here and do that country thing with women. I think thanks to the internet, you're because, like, if they were so good, wouldn't Megumi be talking about how good they are? But see, he doesn't, because I think they're just as rancid as the ones over here. I definitely felt very out of place when I was working there. I asked this because the job I was doing training for last week had me working with pretty much 98% workers, including the management team, were foreigners. I definitely don't think that is the case over here, Jim. Sorry. I told you that my stance is there is no country where what's the way of putting it, the rancid nature of the modern woman has not occurred. All this stuff about passports and whatever, you can take it and throw them in the trash. I'm not about to be hoodwinked into buying that one. Like, you just heard me speak well of the UK. I'm not giving you guys better women. I think they're bad pretty much anywhere you go. The same old time wasting shenanigans. But look, I've been going for over 2 hours, and I'm getting kind of fatigued. So what I'm gonna do is, my experience was very pleasant in the UK in the early 2000s. Remember, the early 2000s is before, if you're talking about like 2003, 2, 1, that's before YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. That was even like that, because, like, when you think about early 2000s, that's really not that long ago. But even back then, that was still a decent period to have tried to meet somebody, because you didn't have, social media, in its late stage as it is now. Anyways, I'm gonna get off of here. I'm gonna stream again on Monday, barring something awful happening, but I don't think anything will. So I hope you enjoyed the stream and our discussion. My job search continues to be one infuriating, horrific saga, but I'm trying, and I guess that's all we can do. So thanks for watching, and have a good rest of your weekend.